Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you. Om Klim Kali Ke Namaha. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot. Don't forget to check out my website, paradoxastrology.com. Book your consultation today. I can help you with anything. And if you'd like more exclusive occult videos that I don't post on YouTube, consider subscribing to my Patreon. It also helps to support this channel. Okay, let's get into this video. Now we have a major transit happening, which is Mars in Cancer, which will happen on October 20th and will go back and forth between Gemini and Cancer. On January 20th, 2025, it will retrograde back into Gemini, and then it will come back into Cancer on April 2nd until June 6th, 2025. This is a very long transit of Mars going from Cancer, Gemini, Cancer. Let's talk about that because this is really going to affect the world. Mars will also retrograde on December 6th until February 23rd, 2025. This is also very interesting because it goes into 2025. And in numerology, 2025 equals 9, which is Mars. Next year is the year of Mars, which can create a lot of events. Now, Mars will be in debilitation in Cancer. First in the nakshatra of Purnarvasu, which it's in now, but it's in Gemini, so it's not in debilitation yet, which is a quiver full of arrows. So it's about hitting a target, and this represents the housing market, trade, tourism, travel, including space travel, astrology, religious and spiritual services, science will be affected as well. This can bring problems of safety as it's aspecting Mercury, which is the Lord of Virgo, which is warlike activities, but also the Lord of Gemini, which is speech, which can create very harsh speech. And then when it's in Cancer, people get very emotional and upset. And the Sun is in debilitation right now, which is leaders. So the Sun, which is leaders, will not be acting in the best interest of the people. This is also because Jupiter is in retrograde right now in this position. And when this happens, people tend to lose righteousness and morals can become diluted. Mars is also aspecting Rahu by its 9th aspect, amplifying hurricanes, storms, anything involving water, the oceans, the seas. Hurricane and storms are very likely, which can make it hard for those to return home safely, and also for those involved in war. One reason is because if you notice, whenever there's a storm, which are being manufactured, the land is always seized by the government. So that's something that people really need to pay attention to. Now on December 6th, when Mars stations and turns retrograde at 11 degrees, Rahu will be at 9 degrees, creating a major event. This is when the most action will occur this year. Mars will be in Pusha Nakshatra at this time, and this is ruled by enemy Saturn. Saturn will be in Shatabisha, bringing events that have to do with physicians, doctors, the stars, secrets being exposed that were kept in closets. Anger and violence and frustration can emerge. Mars will be aspecting Saturn by the 8th aspect and Saturn-Mars by the 6th aspect. So this can make the population become very angry, passive-aggressive, jealous. Mothers committing crimes and females committing crimes can go up. Female serial killers with this aspect with Rahu and Pisces. Crime can skyrocket. Aggression or warlike activities can happen in waters as well, or problems with retaining land. It can be taken away criminally, even by the government. Purnarvasu is ruled by Jupiter. Right now, Jupiter is in Magashira, which can bring problems to those with large followings, cult-like followings, as followers can become angry with the leaders. Mercury will also be stationing direct and turning retrograde in Scorpio on December 13th till January 1st, and this will be activating more Mars energy at the same time. Scorpio is what's hidden, shared resources, crime, violent acts, sexual trauma. This is being aspected by Rahu at this moment. Scorpio is and has been, and this is in Anuradha Nakshatra, which is all about friendship, and these alliances will have to be reviewed. This is ruled by Saturn, giving us more Saturn energy as well. So there's a lot of Saturn energy, a lot of karma karma, a lot of delay that can cause frustration. It can cause lack as well. Now, on October 28th is when Mars will go into Pusha Nakshatra, which is about prosperity. This is when we can see a rise in breast cancer, themes around cows, the dairy industry or ailments from cows, challenges to farmers, real estate, charitable organizations being found out for fraud, religious crimes and bigotry. Some may be seeking counseling for anger and psychological issues. And this is also another reason why I can see a fall in the markets that can happen around this time. Then January 12th, it'll retrograde back into Purnarvasu, hitting the target. Then on April 11th, it'll go back into Pusha Nakshatra. So we're going to see these themes keep playing out. And then on May 11th, 2025, it will go into Ashlesha Nakshatra. And then that's when we'll see a lot more events, because Ashlesha is a very difficult nakshatra. When we have health concerns, scammers, frauds, people acting snake-like, very deceptive, very diabolical, whatever happens here, I've noticed, is always done by the government to the people. Now, this is affecting India and Canada, as well as many other countries, but I can only speak on certain ones that I have the chart on, plus they don't have enough time to look at everybody's chart. But I spoke about this in my fall predictions. I have a video of fall predictions for Canada and the US. Canada, I said there's major losses in the economy coming. I can see this in Trudeau's chart. I can see this in Canada's chart. Losses or transformations in partnerships. International disputes can occur over money and finance. And that's what I said in that video, which I shot a while ago. It's playing out now. You see that there's international disputes today. Today is October 16th, I'm filming this, with India and Canada, which is playing out now. And that's going to continue because this Mars retrograde is retrograding over top of Trudeau's ascendant in debilitation. So there's going to be some kind of attacks onto him. That could be verbal, that could be anything. And this is in Canada's 12th house. So there's going to be some losses that happen because of this. Now in India, it's affecting foreign relations, transportation, neighboring countries. Communication can turn aggressive and harsh and negatively affect the economy. So in May 2025, for India, which is the 9th and the 10th house lord, putting its reputation and leader at risk. The US, this will affect the economy and shared resources greatly, as it will be in the 8th house conjunct its natal Rahu. It's in Rahu Dasha. It's in Rahu Mercury Dasha, and Mercury is there as well. On December 6th, it will station and turn retrograde 4 degrees from its Rahu, causing major events and anger to the population. And it has to do with neighboring countries, communication, transport, and its finances. Its reputation and partnerships are at risk. There is also a risk of war and natural disasters and end of leaders. I have a whole breakdown of that in my video of what I see. A huge storm coming in to affect the US, and that will greatly affect the economy. I don't know if those two have anything to do with each other, but last time that this happened, there was Hurricane Sandy, which wiped out so much and caused the markets to shut down for 2 days, and they lost billions of dollars. And I can see that happening again, especially with the Jupiter retrograde. It's going to retrograde over the same points coming up that it did when the markets crash, but also when the markets hit highs. But there could be some highs and lows, but there's definitely going to be some lows. It's interesting to note that this also happens during the election of the US, and definitely has to do with that. People might get very angry because of what happens, and this can lead to a lot of violence to occur and the reputation to be at stake. So maybe there's some voter fraud because it has to do with the 3rd house as well. And the US is also undergoing Shawtee right now. And Saturn is retrograding towards its moon right now, and it's going to station direct closer to its moon on November 14th. So there's a lot going on with this transit, and this transit in debilitation will affect Aries because Aries is ruled by Mars, and it's going to affect Scorpio because Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and also Cancer as well. So, and everything is aspecting. So there's many different things that this is going to create. So what you can do always is sadhana. If you do spiritual practice, your free will can override the stars. So what I'm telling you is going to happen for the world, because the world is a lower consciousness. So it's easy to predict for that. But if you have a high consciousness, more harder to predict for you, because you are not going to start reacting emotionally because you're at peace all the time. And then that creates a lot less karma for yourself. And you can eliminate karma by doing spiritual practice. I've never met anyone who's a high level spiritual person, like a swami or a tantric, who didn't tell me that anything is possible and anything can be written off with spiritual practice. So just keep at it. That's just a little bit about what I see. I thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one.